We are looking at how to factor using our greatest common factor, or GCF. An example problem, 2k plus 14m. What we are looking for in the greatest common factor is we need to figure out what do these two terms have in common, and then we're going to pull that out. So, if I look at this, I can see that I have 2k and 14m. So when I want to figure out what they have in common, I need to ask myself, what can both terms be divided by? Well, 2k and 14m can both be divided by the number 2. So I'm putting the 2 in the front. So now what I need to do is take my original problem and divide every term by the number 2. So I'm going to take 2k divided by 2, which would give me 1k. Then I'm going to take 14m and divide that by 2, which would give me plus 7m. Now, the reason why this makes sense is because if I were to take my answer, which was 2, 1k plus 7m, and I wanted to check my work, again, if I'm going to check my work, I would have to use my multiplication skills, or my distributive property. So if I take 2 times 1k, that would give me 2k, and 2 times 7m would give me plus 14m, which was the original problem. And that's how I know that my answer is correct. So again, this would be the final answer that we're looking for. Here are a few practice problems, all very similar to the example we just went over. Please pause the video, try the problems, and then once you are done, check your answers. Here are the answers to those 3 practice questions. The next example that we are going to do is going to show you how you can still use greatest common factor even if they have variables in common. So again, I need to look at these two terms and ask myself, what do they have in common? Well, first I'm going to ask, what can both numbers be divided by? Well, 20 and 5 can both be divided by the number 5. Also, since both terms have the same variable, I'm going to ask myself, how many x's could I take away from each term? Well, I could take 1x away from each term, but I could also take 2x's away from each term. I could not take 3x's because the last term only has 2x's total, so I cannot take more than the smallest amount of x's. So because I could take 2x's away from each term, I'm going to put an x squared behind the 5. So what we need to do is divide each term by the number 5 and take away 2 x's. So I'm dividing each term by 5 and taking away 2 x's. So from this first term, 20 divided by 5 would give me 4, and I'm taking away 2 of the x's. The second term, 5 divided by 5 would give me 1, and if I take away 2 x's, there would be no x's left. So this would be my final answer. And again, if we wanted to check our work to understand why this makes sense, all I would need to do is take my final answer and multiply it back out using my distributive property skills. So if I take 5 times 4, I have 20, and I add up my exponents. So that would be 20x to the 6th. 5 times 1 would give me 5x squared. And again, you'll notice that was our original problem. So I know that my answer was correct. And this would be factoring using GCF. Again, here are 3 more practice questions that I would like you to try. Pause the video, try the questions, and then check your answers. Here are the answers to those 3 practice questions.